Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word. Today is Friday, September 10th of the year 2021. Glad you could join me for our time together today and exploring what our daily word is. It's a beautiful morning out here on the porch. I just got back from physical therapy. Had to go there early this morning. It's amazing how cool the morning was this morning as I began my time together, or my trip to therapy. Sorry about that. So, anyway, glad you could be with me this morning for a few minutes together. So, our scripture this morning is just this one verse from the book of Jeremiah. So, Jeremiah is still in captivity. He's held by the guard in the courtyard. And while he's held there, if you look at Jeremiah 33, while he's held there, God comes to Jeremiah, this scripture says, a second time. He comes to Jeremiah a second time. And he says this in verse 3. Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know. I find this text interesting because, we live our lives. I think sometimes in our lives, obsessed with the extraordinary. We like big, bold things in life. We're obsessed with action movies and sports and superheroes. We can't get enough of it sometimes in our lives. We long for the amazing. Now, we sometimes think, I believe, and I do this too, we sometimes think that amazing and new are synonyms. And that for an incredible thing to be incredible, it has to be rare. It has to be new. But I think God is saying to Jeremiah in this text, and saying to us, that when we are in looking for the extraordinary, God says to Jeremiah, call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things that you don't know. For me, this is a reminder that God tells us these great and unsearchable things that are already here. They're in the beauty of the everyday. Last night, Dustin and Mindy and the boys came. They came to mow grass, thankfully, and they brought us Pizza Hut, which was really great. And the boys, of course, Carter and Hudson. And as soon as Dustin went out to mow, they wanted to be outside, but we had to wait till Dustin got done at least in the backyard. And so we went back there after Dustin got done, and they love the swing set slide thing that we bought, and the little John Deere Gator, and the little four-wheeler, the electric toys that we have for them. And they're always amazed at how all of this stuff works, and they're so excited about this new stuff, even though it's not new. Papa, watch. Papa, look at this. Mama, come watch me do this. When something happens, even the slightest, Carter will say to Dustin, show Papa of the small thing. You see, I think for us, we sometimes forget that the real beauty is in the everyday, the mundane, the here and now. The verse that I read is a reminder that we don't have this false perspective, God can tell us great and unsearchable things that we don't know. And if you go on to read the rest of Jeremiah 33 here, we hear God say that God's going to raise up a stump from the root of Jesse. He talks about the coming of the Messiah, and that David will always have someone to sit on the throne. There is this reminder that in the present, God is always with us. And I think, for you and for me, at the end of a week, and it's been a rather tough week for me physically. I've had a little bit of a setback with my knee, not a big one, but a little setback with my knee and with with my mobility a bit. We struggle with life, right? And what all that means for us. But I'm reminded in this text that we shouldn't be seduced by a false perspective. We have what we need for life and for God to be present in our lives. We don't have to be seduced in waiting, for a magic moment or a magic circumstance. I think what we need is a transformed perspective. Miracles, that happen in our lives are just a tool to show us what might be possible. We live in the divine presence of God. As we struggle, as we have difficulties through life, as we're unsure of what the future holds for us, there is this reminder, what God says to Jeremiah. Now remember, Jeremiah is being held captive in the courtyard by the guards. And God comes the second time and says, "Call to me, Jeremiah, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know." In all the knowledge that we have, and all the technology that we have, and all the ability that we have to see into the future, we think, God says, there are great, unsearchable things that we don't know. And it's only God who reveals them to us. And for me, sometimes God reveals them to me through my 3 grandsons, who just get excited at the smallest of things, and I'm reminded by them when they say, "Papa, look," or "Daddy, show that to Papa." I'm reminded that for you and I, sometimes we just have to look at what's right around us and know that God has more unsearchable things to tell us and to show us. And when I think about that, I'm grateful that God is present. If you know who Charlie was, he's a great guy. He was Ruby Long's brother, Marie Russell's cousin, and his funeral is at 3 o'clock on Sunday at Cromas Edwards, and then we have his burial on Monday morning at 9:30. So just wanted you to know that in case you hadn't seen that. So it's a beautiful Friday, a great weekend ahead. I pray you'll know of God's love that surrounds you. I pray you know of my love for all of you, and join us Sunday morning for worship at 10:15. We'll share in the sacrament of communion. We'll have an opening video that is a remembrance of 9/11, which is 20 years ago, and our noisy bucket offering as well. So bring your loose change to drop in the bucket. Have a great day and a great weekend.